maybe the territorial integrity of Ukraine is even not a matter of any choice and of any discussion. Let us talk about that for more today. Rasa Jukneviciene, member of European Parliament and Ministry of Defense of Lithuania in 2008-2012. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
It is really nice to meet you, ma'am. My first question to you will sound quite provocative. Every now and then, the debates in the capitals of the West are heard about how to end this war in a way so Ukraine and all of the Europe can be secure for its future and not to be attacked by Russia in the near future, at least. Any realistic and real effective ideas on that?
You know, Ukraine is fighting in its real military front line. But in the West, we have politicians like me, others, we are fighting in so-called Western front line, where I don't think we have very clear understanding about the outcome of this war. And this is related not only with the European Union, but with the United States as well. Recently, we had NATO summit in Vilnius, in my country's capital, and we had a lot of debates in media around everywhere what happened and was it enough political will to decide the right to have the right decisions. Of course, many were somehow disappointed because of not mentioning Ukraine's future in more concrete way in NATO. But myself, being inside this Western front line in the European Parliament, following the situation, I would say that what we are lack of very clear strategy about Russia. What we would like to have in the future. You are surprised, of course. Oh, yeah. Why about Russia, not about Ukraine, but about Ukraine. Almost everybody agree that we have to help Ukraine to win this war. I will never accept understanding that we could win this war, or at least understand as a victory without any territory of Ukraine, territory recognized in 1991. But why Russia? Because for many of us, not only those countries we are next to, Belarus, to Russia, but also to the European continent, is very important to have idea, at least strategy, understanding that we need totally different Russia. And we are urging our partners in the European Union not to be afraid to defeat Putin's regime. So answering your question in more direct way, I would say that unpredictability of many countries, what does it mean victory? And is it also included defeat of this brutal, bloody regime in Russia, which, by the way, occupied Russian nation as well? This is the answer to your question. We need to have much more clear strategy. Otherwise, if it will be some kind of temporary decisions, I mean that to stop the war, to stop fighting today without defeating this regime will strike back again in few years, and this is most dangerous scenario.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with you. I'm absolutely with you. But maybe I have a proposal. One of the ways that may help may be the Ukraine NATO Council. It was held according to Zelensky initiative in 2 weeks after the NATO summit, if I'm not mistaken. What could be the reason, my next question is, what could be the reason for such a swift, fast decision? Is it fair to say that it was possible to solve all the issues important for Ukraine during the summit in Vilnius? Or the Independent Council really is the tool that we needed for that?
Look, of course, it's better than nothing. Of course, it's a huge step forward. When I compare the understanding in the West about Ukraine's future in NATO before this large-scale war, just 1.5 years ago, it was totally different. Very few even expected then that Ukraine can be part of NATO. Today, everybody agree and understand that Ukraine will become, it's not just wording as it was done in Bucharest in 2008, but really most countries, I think all NATO countries are sure that Ukraine will become member of NATO when this war activities will be over. It was not before. But yes, it's a step forward, but not enough. It's just a step forward. And we have to go to push NATO, also EU. By the way, it's not only about NATO important. Not only NATO is important for Ukraine, as for my country was, but also membership in EU. It will change landscape, economical landscape, and it is not less easy job to do than to become NATO member. To become a NATO member maybe is more political decision, agreement among the countries to invite Ukraine. But membership in EU, it's a lot to do for Ukraine itself. We have to do our best to help Ukrainians to win this war, because it's also about the future of Europe.